Welcome to Under the Ancient Oaks, a monthly video series about paganism, polytheism, and living a good life during difficult times. I'm John Beckett, Druid, priest, and writer.
Go into the homes of any of your friends, whether they're pagans or Christians or Buddhists or anything else, and you're likely to see pictures and other mementos of parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. Honoring our ancestors is an intuitive human impulse across many religions. But for some of us, it's not just a nice thing to do. It's an important part of our regular spiritual practice. Well, now I'm happy to welcome fellow Denton pagan Linda Masten to Under the Ancient Oaks. Linda, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you, John. I am a member of Denton CUUPS, and I practice Norse-flavored pagan spirituality.
Well, now, Linda, who are our ancestors is the first question.
Very simply, our ancestors are those who came before us. But we can put those ancestors into more meaningful categories. For example, the first is ancestors of blood. Most people are familiar with that idea. These are those that we've loved, or that we knew, or that we've been told about, or in my case, that I have, through genealogy, studied about for the last 10 generations or so.
But it's more than just blood. We also have our ancestors of spirit.
Yes, we do. Ancestors of spirit are those who we are not related to, but who have affected our lives and the world that we live in. Let me give an example. Through my genealogical research, found that I very much appreciate and therefore want to honor historians and archaeologists and anthropologists and those who have recorded the cultures and lives of those who came before, and therefore laid the groundwork for any geological research that I do.
Good. And I'd just like to say that as a Druid, Ross Nichols, who was the founder of the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, is one of my spiritual ancestors, as is Isaac Bonowitz, who founded ATF. Well, Linda, in our mainstream society, the emphasis is on the individual and on the here and now, and maybe a little bit toward looking to the future. Why should we care about the past and our ancestors?
Their lives teach us how to live in this day and age. For me, it's a search for commonalities. I have a need for transportation. My ancestors had a need for transportation. I use cars. My near ancestors used horses. They came to Texas in covered wagons. My very distant ancestors, who lived in Norway, might have decided to cross a glacier on foot. They still were looking for an adventure, though, and had a need for travel.
So I guess the most important question is, what are some of the ways we can honor our ancestors?
The most common way that we honor our ancestors is, in this day, with funerals and with burying our dead and honoring our dead in cemeteries. Whether you're pagan or not, you would go visit your near ancestors that are buried, and you might take with you flowers or a memento to leave there. Some practices, you'll find little stones that are left on the headstones as a marker for your visit to that cemetery.
And this brick isn't just there holding the altar cloth down either.
No. As John mentioned, in homes you will often find mementos from those that came before, our near ancestors. In this case, for me, I display a brick from my great-grandfather's home, and I also have a shaving cup that belonged to my husband's family nearly over 100 years old. These items are on display, and I walk through every day and think about my ancestors, and I'm glad to tell their stories if someone comes in and asks about my brick.
So let's end this with a very brief devotion to our ancestors.
Ancestors of blood and ancestors of spirit, you on whose foundations we build, because of you we have life. May we live in ways that honor you, your sacrifices.
Mighty ancestors, hail and welcome.
Hail and welcome.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for being a part of Under the Ancient Oaks.
Thank you for asking me.
This is the last video of 2017, so it's time to start looking forward to 2018. February 9th through 11th, I'll be at the ATF Texas Imbolc Retreat at the U Retreat Center in Mountain Home, Texas. You don't have to be a member of ATF to attend. It's suitable for pagans and polytheists of all varieties, and it's drivable from almost any place in Texas. This will be my 5th year at this gathering. If you live anywhere nearby, I encourage you to consider attending. The following weekend, February 16th through 19th, I'll be at Panthea Con in San Jose, California. Panthea Con is the largest indoor pagan gathering in the world. I'll be speaking on Building Alliances Across Our Many Communities on Saturday at 11 a.m. I'll also be doing at least one and probably 2 presentations in the ATF Hospitality Suite. More details on those once they're finalized. Honoring and working with our ancestors is part of my book, The Path of Paganism. It's available from Llewellyn Worldwide and also from Amazon and from Barnes & Noble. And I discuss these topics and more 3 times a week on my blog, also called Under the Ancient Oaks, which is part of the pagan channel of the multi-faith religious website Patheos.
That's all for this month. May the blessings of the gods and ancestors be with you, now and in the days to come.